Hello, I'm Michael Buono. I'm a professor here at San Diego State. There are over 8 million species of animals in the world, and humans are only the best at two things. We're not the biggest animal, we're not the smallest animal, we're not the fastest animal. So what are the two things that humans are special at? The first thing is that human beings, of course, are the smartest. Our brains are the biggest, and we can do strategy and conduct science. But the other thing that most people don't know are human beings have the best sweat glands. Out of all the animals of the world, we are the best sweaters. And you wonder why in the world is that? Well, through evolution, we've been able to hunt other animals like gazelles and zebra and other animals, again, hundreds of thousands of years ago. We could hunt them in human beings in packs during the heat of the day because those animals can't sweat, and so they would overheat. So sweat glands are really one of the most important things that human beings have. Not only are athletes concerned with sweat glands, but we do a lot of work for the military, firefighters, and just to give you kind of an example, cars have known this for years. If you look at little Toyotas, they've got small engines and they've got small radiators. But if you look at a muscle car out of Detroit, like a Camaro or a Mustang, they got big engines, and what have the engineers learned? They have to put big radiators because engines produce lots of heat and the car's going to overheat. Same thing with human beings. When we train and we get big hearts and we're able to work harder, they would be completely useless if we didn't have the ability to sweat more, because human beings are only about 25% efficient. So when you exercise, 75% of the calories in a piece of white bread that you eat, I mean, one piece of white bread being 100 calories, 75 calories are going to come off as heat. And so human beings can overheat very easily if we didn't evolve really great sweat glands. And so my research is to study how human beings are able to thermoregulate, how they're able to heat acclimate, because if you take a human and you expose them to heat for about 2 weeks, their sweat glands get bigger, their sweat glands are able to sweat less sodium, and so there's lots of advantages of that. And where we study that is right here, which is the San Diego State Environmental Chamber. So let's go in and just take a quick look at it. And so here is you've all seen this down in the exercise physiology lab. Here's the treadmill, and this chamber is the only one that I know of on the CSU campuses. So if you go to CSU Fresno, CSU Los Angeles, they don't have one of these chambers. We're the only campus that has an environmental chamber, and we can do what? We can heat this chamber up. We've had it up over 140 degrees. That's hotter than any place on earth. Even Death Valley doesn't get that hot. We can change the humidity, we can change the temperature, and we can change the amount of oxygen, so we can simulate altitude. And so we can simulate almost any type of environment here in this chamber. And the Olympic athletes have come in here and trained in here. For example, when the Olympics were held, the new Olympics are coming up in Japan. It's going to be in the summer. The last ones were in Rio. It was very warm. And so Summer Olympics, we've had Olympic athletes come in and train here in the chamber. Firefighters, as we said, we get a lot of money from the military to a lot of soldiers and military personnel. The wars that are going on and have gone on in the last couple of decades have been in very warm places of the world. So we study how we can heat acclimate and improve athletic performance, military performance here in the heat. And I guess on ending, I just want to say, I know you're going to say, well, I don't go out in the heat. Global warming. The world is getting warmer. And so every one of us is going to depend on having really, really good sweat glands. So if you're interested in sweat gland physiology and research, I'm your man.